Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next important topic is this one: deposit, down payment, and retainer. If sometime customer pay in advance, if sometime customer pay in advance, how can you record it in the QuickBook? And later on, if they purchase something, how can you adjust this advance payment with their invoice? For this purpose, there are a few steps that we have to follow. Step number one, the customer which paid the amount, if the customer paid the amount for you, definitely that is kinds of income received in advance, and income received in advance will be considered as liability. So point number one, we have to create a liability account. Create a liability account as you receive in advance from the customers. How can you do that one? Of course, we can do from chart of account. Go to the chart of account and select the other current liabilities and give a name such as down payments or income received in advance, income received from customers, or unearned income. So for this purpose, let us do this one step by step. First of all, we have to go for chart of account, right? In chart of account, of course, we have to create a new accounts under what? Under other current liabilities. Under other current liabilities. But the name for this one should be, for example, what should be the name? The name, for example, should be anything. Income received in advance or down payment or whatever. You can name it, right? So you can mention, for example, income received in advance. Income received in advance, right? But do not give any value, just save it. Save and close. Step number two, right? Step number two, create an item. After creating the account, you have to create an item. For this purpose, go to the item list, select the service, give a name such as deposit and retainer, and of course, it should be non-taxable. But in account column, select the liability account which you have already created. So what was this step? The first step was the chart of account, and we have created an account by the name of income received in advance. After this, go for the item list and right click, create a new account, and select the service. In the name, give a name such as retainer and deposit. This is deposit. Retainer and deposit. But of course, it should be non-taxable. It should be what? It should be non-taxable. So in the account, so you have to click the previous account which you have created. What was the previous account? That was income received in advance. So select this account. So initially we have created this account. Secondly, we have created these items, but in the account column, we have selected that. Save and this one. Step number two is also done. Go for step number three. Go to the customer section. Now it is the time that the customer want to pay. If customer pay, for example, go for the customer section and go for enter sales receipts, right? In the item field, select the item you have created in the second point. In the amount column, mention the amount which you have received from the customers. Now go for the customer section. Let us say, for example, one of the customers want to make the payment. So click on enter sales receipt. Which customer want to pay in advance? For example, one of the customer by the name of John. John is a good one. For example, want to pay in advance, right? So how she pay? For example, through check or whatever, right? So in item, select the item which we have created in point number two. What was the item? That was retainer and deposit, right? Retainer and deposit. In the amount column, just mention the amount. How much was the amount? Let us say, for example, this customer paid amount of 50,000 in advance. How much he paid in advance? 50,000 he paid in advance. Save and close this one. No need for the class. Now, if you want to check with the this one with the chart of account, check with the chart of account of income received in advance. How much is the amount? Amount is equal to 50,000. So it means 50,000 we have received from this customers. Right? That was step number three. What is the next? When the customer order, create an invoice, enter the item for she or he that you want to purchase. After those items, enter the item you have created in point number two. In the amount column, enter the invoice value with the negative sign. See this one. Let us say, for example, we have created a liability account. Second, we have created the item, of course, as you can see here. Third one, we have received the amount. Now it is the time that the customer order for us. Customer make an order or create an invoice for us. Customer order some particular goods from us. For this purpose, after suppose order is also accepted, so we want to make the invoice, right? We want to make the invoice for the customers. what customer was? The customer was, for example, which one? Khotarajan, right? Leave this one. Which item he has ordered? She has ordered. She has ordered, for example, the following item. For example, she has ordered for battery. How many battery? For example, 100 battery. The value of each battery is, for example, 150. Right? This will become how much? 17,000. She has ordered for something else, for example, for Dell computer. How many Dell computer? For example, 10 Dell computer. It become how much? This much, right? So the total value of the invoices equal to how much? 21,620. If you call to this customer to make a payment, so definitely he or she will not pay. Why? Because she is saying that I have paid a 50,000 in advance, so you can deduct it from that bill, right? So 21,620 is the amount of invoice, so we should not save this one. Why? Because if you save it, so again she become payable to the business, but she already paid in advance. So for that purpose, once again in the item column, select the item which you have already created. Already we have created an item by the name of retainer and deposit, right? Here in this one, mention this amount with the negative one. Mention this amount with the negative. How much is the amount? It is 21,620. 21,620, right? So now save this one. Save one. So before saving, if you click on the next one, now the invoice value is equal to how much? 0. Why? Because she should become 0 payable to the business. Why? Because still we have to pay to her. Why? Because she paid an advance amount of 50,000 and the value of this invoice is only 21,620. So save and close this one. So anyway, save it. Now if you go for the chart of account, see the advance account, income received in advance, right? Income received in advance. So the value of the income received in advance is equal to how much? 28,380. Let us say, for example, these customers don't want to purchase anymore from the business. So we will have to repay this amount to this customer back. For this purpose, we have to make a refund. Refund the remaining balance of the prepayment by creating a credit memo. So we have to create it. How we can do it? We can do it through the customer section and make a, if she purchase again in the future, also we can do it. For example, let us say, for example, we don't want to refund to her, but still she want to order from the business. If she want to purchase something else from the business, so for example, once again, she want to purchase, we can say keyboards. How many keyboards? For example, 100 keyboards she want to purchase from the business, and the value of each keyboard is, let us say, for example, 100, right? And total become equal to how much? 10,000. Again, we have to reduce from that retainer and deposit until the retainer and deposit become 0, right? So give a negative balance and mention 10,000. How much is the balance? Balance is equal to 2. Invoice is equal to 0. Now save and close, right? Save and close. Customer field cannot be blank, okay? We made a mistake. So select the customer. Which customer was that one? Khotarajan, right? So remove that part. The balance is okay. So what is the mistake here? No mistake. 100 invoice. Okay, the value of each one is, of course, this one, 100. Okay. Clear this one. Select the customer once again. John, for example. Cancel this one. She want to purchase what? She want to purchase, for example, as we said, keyboard. 100 keyboard she want to purchase, and the value of each keyboard, for example, equal to 100, right? So the total become, total become after tax. After tax, total become 1,500. So in the second column, mention retainer and deposit with the total balance of the invoice, which is 1,500. But of course, it should be with the negative sign. Now the balance is equal to how much? This one. So this one, save and close it, right? Now, if you check the balance of the customers, close the section. If you check the balance of the deposit and retainer in the chart of account, income received in advance, the balance decreased to 16,880. Let us say, for example, after this transaction, the customer don't want to purchase from the business. So this one should be credited, 16,880. So for that purpose, go for the refund. Click on the credit memo. Click on the refund. For example, if we can say, okay, if we, for example, if she returned items back to the business, so we can select the, no, sorry, not the items. In the item, we have to select once again the retainer and deposit, right? In the item, we have to select the retainer and deposit once again, which we have previously created. This one, right? Retainer and deposit. But in the amount column, of course, you have to mention the amount. How much we have to pay? 16,880, right? So this is the amount that we have to do. Save and close this one. Once again, consumer section is blank. That was Hotel John, right? Hotel John, the balance is 16,880. Save and close this one. Save and close. So we want to repay, yes. Give a refund. So apply, give a refund. So we have to check, issue a check, right? From which bank? From AIB bank. So anyway, it is fine. Now income received in advance is equal to how much? 0. So in this way, you can manage the income received in advance from the customers. First, create a liability account, then item account, then receive from them, then adjust with invoice, and finally, if it is not adjusted, you can repay it.